Country, there aren't any special bathrooms set aside so you can pause in the middle of your mission and do your business. What you see is what you get. So depending on your environment, whether you're in the middle of urban warfare, right in the middle of a city, or journeying through vast expanses of land, that is how you're going to collect your bodily functions. In 2003, I deployed with the 3rd Infantry Division to Kuwait with the expectation that we were going to invade Iraq. Now, Kuwait's a beautiful, fascinating country with modern amenities like flushing toilets. But the Army never deploys to nice places. Well, not since World War II. Instead, we settled in the desert, out in the middle of nowhere, with just miles and miles of sand. When I got to Kuwait, I was appalled with our living conditions. For starters, I was crammed into a sleeping tent with 65 of my closest coworkers. Co-ed, because there's not enough females to have our own tent. And then we had these shower trailers that would offer this little trickle of cold water, but they were strictly rationed, and so we were only allowed to bathe a few times a week. And then the most important part, this formation of neatly organized rows and rows of blue and white porta potties that extended for yards beyond the perimeter of our base camp. This is what I had to do my business in for 2 months. What you see is what you get. There weren't any functioning toilets. So we had some locals who worked at the base camp, and they would provide regular services like food delivery. This happened every day. And cleaning out the porta potties, that didn't happen every day. So these porta potties began to stink. And I just really grew resentful of having to use them. I had this game. Every time I had to go in them, I would hold my nose and like try to hold my breath, you know, so I wouldn't inhale the stench. But little did I know that life was about to suck way more than this, and I was actually going to miss these porta potties as a luxurious accommodation that I would long for. So right before the invasion, we left the base camp and we set up for a few days at the Kuwait-Iraq border. This too is out in the middle of nowhere, only now we weren't allowed to leave behind any trace of our presence. What you see is what you get. Now try going to the bathroom and not leaving any evidence behind. So we had some handymen who took some plywood and they built a stall, and they had this makeshift toilet seat over this big drum. And there was no ceiling, but it was actually nice to get some fresh air to come in and kind of mitigate the intense smell, until we were ordered to burn our shit. My commander actually created a shit burning schedule. My shit shift was one evening, right as the sun was about to set. It almost made for a really nice campfire if the logs that we were burning weren't actually logs of, never mind, we're in a food place. I thought I was at the lowest that I could possibly be, only to later find out that life was going to get a lot worse, and I would also long for this luxurious accommodation. So for the invasion, which in essence was a 3-week drive up to Baghdad, everything that you needed had to be contained within your Humvee. I became a toilet paper hoarder in preparation for this event. But the one thing I wasn't prepared for, the combat skill that I lacked the most training in, was going to the bathroom in front of my coworkers. Because when you're in a convoy of hundreds of vehicles in what is deemed as enemy territory, you can't just go off and use the bathroom by yourself in privacy. What you see is what you get. And let me tell you, the female monthly issues, they don't go away for war. So here's what I did. When I had to go to the bathroom, I made an announcement to everyone around me. Attention everyone, I have to go to the bathroom. And since I had their attention, I told them, make sure you look in the opposite direction. Nobody stare at me. And then I took the doors of my Humvee and I formed this V to like cover, you know, the front door and the back door, covered the important area, and I had a female colleague hold up a poncho to provide some extra concealment. And then I kind of just crouched down, kind of dug a little hole, and did my thing right next to my vehicle. I was mortified at first, but when there's bombs and missiles flying overhead, you want to stay as close to your coworkers as possible. So if I had to go to the bathroom in front of them and this was going to help me stay alive, I did what I had to do. Because in combat, when it comes to survival, what you see is what you get. But I sure as hell miss those porta potties. Thank you.